Now, the thing is, and here's what's too bad, because this is missing to a large degree within the church, right? Within evangelicalism, even within our individual lives. Why is that? Because we're living at a time, beloved, where sin is not taken too seriously. Let's just be honest. Even inside the church, we kind of use the euphemisms. We don't call sin sin much. We call them mistakes. We call them bad choices. Failure on my part, whatever. But we're not calling it sin. And here's the sin that I committed. David said, I confessed my iniquities to you. I told you what my sins were. I laid my heart before you. I'm not watering it down. But we do that so much today, don't we? Right? We don't want to offend people. We don't want to call them sinners. We're just people that are flawed, right? We got to stop doing that. We have too low a view of sin in terms of its scope, in terms of its depth. We just do. And many of the church leaders are to blame for that because we're afraid to tell you guys because we want to be liked or whatever reasons, right? I want you to keep coming in the door. So we're going to kind of do that for you. And so we take a low view of sin, not really the biblical view of sin, right? We don't say that you're altogether wretched. Well, you are, apart from Christ. All of us are. We're sinners by nature and choice. We deserve hell. That's all very biblical, but we kind of don't. We want to blunt that, don't we? It's almost like, hey, we're broken people. Broken. Life is messy. We're still human. Right? The Puritans wouldn't have liked that language at all. They say, no, we are sinners. We are wretches in the sight of God. And you need to hear that bad news because the good news, that's what makes the good news so good. So instead of mourning over sin, we're almost casual about it. And this is a big danger. And this is where we get away from this beatitude. Right? As a matter of fact, we're coming to a place, even within the church, where people are getting angry when you call them out for their sin. Remember when David was called out for his sin by Nathan? What did David do? Did he get ticked off at Nathan and say, "Get out of here"? No, I don't want to hear it. No, he broke down and he mourned over his sin. He confessed his sin. Right? What are we doing in the church today? So often, I'm generalizing, of course, not every church does this, but so often people get angry when they get called out for their sins. They threaten to leave the church. Or even today, they're threatening to sue the church. Oh, that's liable. You're slandering me. And so churches are afraid to use corrective discipline to confront, to restore people in the church. Why? Because people fail to mourn their sin. They don't hate their sin enough to mourn over it. Right? So you even have churches who have to lawyer up in case somebody gets mad because the elders confront them for a sin that they've committed. Right? That's where we find ourselves a little bit in this day and age. And this has to change. This is why we need to mourn our sin.